Hey y'all, thanks for joining me. It is Holy Tuesday night. I have some news to share with you. I want to go over what's been going on with the Holy Sepulchre, what's going on with our Jerusalem Patriarchate there, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. So this is the Holy Week services from the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate, and this was posted yesterday. And the services are going to be at the monastic church of Saints Constantine and Helen, which is part of the compound of the Patriarchate, okay? And of course, it has all of the regular services in here. The issue is, I was looking into this and I wanted to see what was happening on Holy Saturday, and I don't see anything. With the Holy Pascha, the 12:30 a.m. midnight service, I did not see anything on the schedule there about the Holy Sepulchre, the Holy Fire ceremony. So I was wondering what is going on here that they did not include that. Why isn't it there? Okay, why is it that there isn't anything for that? And so I looked into it, and it was kind of like a protest. They left it as it is, where they were just going to do that there instead of trying to get through checkpoints and do all these things for the police, the Israeli police, and the authorities, even though the church belongs to the Patriarchate. It belongs to the Orthodox Christians and the other Christians. This church does not belong to the Israeli government. They did do a procession, a Palm Sunday procession to the Holy Sepulchre from their church, the Patriarchate, and they went to the Holy Sepulchre and did a little service, walked 3 times around the tomb of Christ and all that. So that did happen on Palm Sunday. Now, it's restricted, like we said, 50 people, so it's basically just the clergy and some special delegates or whatever that's supposed to be there for the Holy Fire ceremony, which is what I understand, that they're supposedly still going to do that. Now, you already know the deal with the wars, that none of the wars that happened was the Holy Sepulchre closed, okay? So the 1967 Six-Day War, during the intense battle for the Old City, General Moshe Dayan gave strict orders that the Church of Holy Sepulchre must not be hit. Despite the fighting in the streets, the holy sites were protected and not systematically shuttered to the clergy. World War II and 1948. Even as Jerusalem was being divided and shelled during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, the 3 major denominations continued their, of course we're not a denomination, but that's what they say it in here, continued their liturgies at the tomb of Christ, maintaining the unbroken chain of prayer. 1948 to 67, like I said, the intense fighting. There's the Ottoman and Crusade eras. Even under that non-Christian rule, the status quo ensured that religious authorities, not the state police, decided who could enter. Current situation, okay, so centuries of resilience. And what we understand is that this is unprecedented, as you said, to have closed it, and all the other holy sites are being closed too. You know, they're saying it's for the war, but like I said, all these other wars happened and the church was not closed. Okay, so it's more of a man-made administrative closure, not because of some threat. Judging by all those other wars I just mentioned to you. So we know all of this is going on with these restrictions. And there were some concerns about how it was going to be on Holy Fire and Pascha. Well, let me show you what they did. I have some video on what happened on Palm Sunday. So they did this procession with empty streets because everything is closed down in Jerusalem. But they, as I said, they went from the Patriarchate to the Holy Sepulchre. I wanted to show you Palestinians at the Palm Sunday in Gaza, which is where our St. Porphyrios Greek Orthodox Church is. Gaza City. It says Gaza City, Bethlehem. So let's see. Okay, so that was in Gaza City. Now the other information I want to give you is that there has been a ceasefire, which is really amazing because after the crazy things that Trump has been saying that since Western Easter and yesterday and today or whatever, people were calling for the 25th Amendment. But this whole thing is very strange because there was such tension, such horrible things being said, sounded like genocide, sounded like, horrible, maybe nukes being used and everything. And then what happened was all of a sudden there was this two-week ceasefire around that 8 p.m. deadline. At first I thought, well, I'll watch what Danny says. And yeah, he made sure that he checked Arachi, the Iranian foreign minister, had agreed to this because, just Trump saying that doesn't really mean much. But Arachi has agreed to that. And of course, I guess the Israelis, I haven't heard anything. The problem is, has the Israeli government ever really done, honored a ceasefire? At least in Gaza? No, not really. But maybe in this case, yeah, it will, because it's been pummeled so badly. Lots of things have been going on. And this will give people a chance to a respite, a window of peace for a while. Not sure how that came about, why it happened, but it's a good thing. And if you look at it from a spiritual point of view, people have been praying and, the timing, everyone, the timing. 2 week 2 weeks ceasefire just the time of our Holy Week, our Pascha and Bright Week, and gives it just enough time for people to, churches that are setting up to pick up, they're sending their airplanes to pick up the Holy Fire. There was a problem with that at first because, there's limited flights in and out. You have to use state planes from the governments from each place, like Greece. Romanians are bringing their plane. Greece is too. Not sure what's going on. I think Cyprus and all that, they're trying to do that as well. But if this is the really good part, because if the fighting has stopped, the flights can come in regularly to transfer the Holy Fire to those Orthodox countries and around the world, even to here, hopefully. Also, what really makes it great is the restrictions need to be removed. The Holy Sepulchre needs to be opened again, because their reasons supposedly for closing this was always the war, the security reasons. Well, so far right now, I have not heard that the restrictions have been lifted. Roadblocks, blockades are still there in the old city, but hopefully it'll reopen tomorrow or the next day at the latest. It should. There is no reason why it shouldn't anymore be closed. The wars, the missiles, they're not happening now. So this is, I wonder if this is God's intervention, divine intervention, that it happened now. Let's hope that the Holy Sepulchre is open again, and not only the clergy but pilgrims can come in, the faithful, because they did this during the pandemic as well. Divine liturgy is supposed to be all the people. It's supposed to be not just the clergy, it's supposed to be the lay people as well, because it's the work of the people. The liturgy is for not just the clergy. We have a rule in tradition and kind of canonical rule that a priest cannot do the liturgy by himself. It can't just be him. It has to be like at least one other person, like of the lay person type, like a reader or a chanter or something like that. You can't just, because it's about the whole community. It's not about the priest. The priest is just leading it for the people, and so that's important to know, because some churches can do that, but in the Orthodox Church, you're not supposed to do that. It's not allowed. So this is some interesting news. I just wanted to bring that up for you amid a Holy Week. I hope everybody's Holy Week is going well. It's been very, very interesting, this news. In any case, the church belongs to the patriarchs, not is the Israeli police or government. So this is why this is so important, that the timing, I just can't get over the timing, Glory to God that there's a break from all this terrible fighting, and right during Holy Week and Pascha. Glory to God. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your Holy Week, and also a wonderful Pascha. Blessed Pascha, joyous Pascha.